Yo, it's your boy Demond in the building. We talk Hawks TV. We talk Hawks daily. Hey, your boy Demond want to do a quick video about Onsi getting promoted to president of basketball operations from the general manager position. Um, I think it was a smart move by Tony Wrestler. Um, Obviously, as a fan, I'm just on the outside looking in. I think Tony's hand was kind of forced to do that. Um, you probably like, why would you say that, Damon? I'm gonna tell you why. He could have hired Onsi Selah, the president of basketball operation, from day one, because we haven't had one in a hot minute. Who was our last president of basketball operation? Travis Slink. Since he been gone, who's been the president of basketball? You've had Landry Fields as the GM, and you had Onsi Selah, who was the GM and now the president. We haven't had one since Travis Slink been gone. So that's got to be what? Dang, that's a couple years now with no president of basketball operations. He went through multiple interviews, you know, um, and there had to be a reason why. One, he didn't hire one, and two, why you had guys like what's my man name? My mind went blank, but he worked with the Sixers. He used to play. He played for the Hawks. Elton Brand. Elton Brand interviewed for the position, and then he pulled his name out. It's a reason behind that, right? I believe, once again, I'm just a fan on the outside looking in. I believe that once Bob Myers got that gig in Philadelphia, he was gonna give Onsi Selah whatever he wanted to leave Atlanta and come up there. I put money on it. You just lost Brandon Graham to a gig to he president of basketball over there at in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he the GM. I think he the president over there. So you lost Brandon Graham to the Bulls, and you was about to lose Onsi Selah to the Sixers, right? So I think Tony's hand was forced, because if I'm Onsi, now I'm not saying Onsi did it, but if I'm Onsi, Bob Myers called me and said, "Demond, I need you on my staff, young fella." And I've already worked with him before. We got an amazing relationship. Okay. We've won championships together. We know how each other move and work, right? I would have called Tony Wrestler, like, "Hey, boss man, listen. Hey, owner, my boy just hit me up, man. I'm entertaining his offer, man. I might take that deal. You know what I'm saying? So if you're Tony Wrestler, I mean, what else can you do to keep Onsi there? You feel me? So Tony Wrestler probably like, you know what? Hold up, bro. I like what you've been doing. I like the direction we going in. How about I just promote you to president of basketball in Atlanta? Boom. If I'm honest, I'm like, hell yeah, do that. Sign me up today for that gig, right? Here's the thing now. Here's the kicker. Now what I'm wondering is this. As the president of basketball operation, does he have the power to hire and fire coaches? Now, y'all know I'm not a fan. I'm not the biggest fan of Quinn Snyder, right? But I'm just asking, what is the power structure like now? And my other question is, does Onsi Selah hire a general manager? You feel me? Does he hire a general manager? Does he not extend Quinn Snyder so he can get his own coach? Some stuff to think about, man. But let me tell you, man, it's some good reasons why it was good to promote Onsi. And I'm gonna tell you. One, we get continuity and stability in the front office. I've always preached that. I've always said, when you look at these winning organizations, when you look at the organization who are consistent winners, consistent contenders, competitors, one thing they have in common: stable ownership, stable front office. Meaning they all on the same sheet of music. You know what I'm saying? We've had multiple since Trey got here, we've had multiple front office restructures, constant roster turnover, which is crazy that we turn over the roster so much and you don't really have nothing to show for it when it comes to winning games. You know what I'm saying? And we've had multiple coaches. Now, like I said, I'm not the biggest Quinn Snyder fan, but if Onsi Sailor say, you know what, I want to keep Quinn because of the continuity, I can respect that. I can respect that, right? Because at least now, as a fan, you know what the plan is. Okay, we keeping this front office stable, and we're all, as long as Onsi and Quinn and Tony are all on the same sheet of music, I have no problem. Because we know you need continuity in your front office. Okay. And here's another thing. I mean, Onsi Sailor has already built the foundation of the current roster. You feel me? He's built the foundation of the current roster. You traded Trey, you pick up CJ. You was here for the Jalen Johnson extension. You was here for the draft of Zachary Ricochet. You was here for the acquired Null. You was here for the Dyson Daniels acquisition when we traded Murray. And now you're here to draft whoever we're going to pick at 8 or whatever we're going to do, trade back or whatever. You was here for the signing of Landale. You was here for the, acquisition of Luke, who you then moved to get Gabe Vincent. So the roster is heavily Onsi influenced. So it would be smart to promote him to the president of basketball operations instead of him leaving to go somewhere else. Because now you got to replace him, and you just lost Brandon Graham. So now you got to replace Onsi Sailor. Now you gonna have somebody come in on an incomplete roster, right? And now you're changing the front office again. So I mean, I understand once again why Tony Ressler decided to promote Onsi. You feel me? I'm assuming he has a good relationship with Quinn. I'm assuming he got a good relationship with the owner. You feel me? And that's what you want to have, because when you have front offices, when you have presidents, when you have GMs who don't have those good relationships, you have disaster. Look at the Nuggets. Nuggets won a championship, but the front office and the coach couldn't decide who need to be playing. Guess what Denver did? Got rid of the coach and the GM, right? Look at Quinn when he was in Utah. If you go back, I mean, a couple Google searches, you'll see all the articles. Quinn was doing fine in Utah. Had a problem with who? The front office, about what players need to be playing, what players shouldn't, what's the goal. You see where I'm going with this? And I'm hoping that Onsi, now he says it in public, but we know Onsi will say something in public. Yeah, me and Trey locked in. And then next thing you know, your ass traded. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully him, Quinn, and Tony, good relationship, on the same sheet of music as far as player development, roster construction, draft philosophy, and the style of play. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that front office on the same sheet of music. I'm trying to tell you, that's probably to me, that's the most important part of your organization right there. What else? I know he dips in analytics. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'm not the biggest data driven guy, but he getting results. So I mean, analytics does have a spot in sports. You just can't rely heavy on analytics, as Kenny Atkinson will show you and tell you that's what happens when you just rely on analytics. It messes up your decision making. It messes up your way of thinking. Not messes up, but it changes your way of thinking and how you view the game, how you view your assets. You know what I'm saying? But he's an analytically driven guy. I don't have a problem with it. As long as you get results, I don't have a problem. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's the only thing that matter in pro sports is results. You know what I'm saying? No one cares what your analytics, no one cares what your data say when you lose. And ask Kenny Atkinson when he said that stuff, what he said, right? You even had analytic people like, nah, hold up, buddy. This just a tool you supposed to be using. Don't be relying on it 100%. You feel me? And I'll tell you this, keeping Onsi, well, not keeping on, well, keeping him technically, I think you had to promote him in order to keep him. That's just me. But if you don't promote Onsi and you go get Matsai, who we was linked with Masai last year, and I'm just using him as an example. You go get a Bob Myers. What happens is this. Now he's going to come in. Now Onsi and Quinn has to impress the president, the new president, because the new president may want his own coach, want his own roster, want his own scouting department, want his own, has his own long-term vision and how to get there. You know what I'm saying? Which means you could end up trading your core players, resetting your timeline. You know what that remind me of? I'm gonna flip it to some football. That remind me when Chip Kelly went to Philly and he had all this power. He ended up trading like some of their best players, the running back from there, LaShawn McCoy. They just start trading everybody. And then he ends up getting fired. Now you got to start over without your core players. You know what I'm saying? Just an example of what can happen when you bring in a president when your organization's already set. But y'all have heard me say up here time and time again, in my opinion, before you hire a coach or GM, you hire the president, because then you don't have that issue, because that president now go up and get their coach, get their GM. And the best thing about it, like I said earlier, they're already on the same sheet of music. You see what I'm saying? So I think promoting Onsi it's a great move, man. It is a great move by the Atlanta Hawks. Like I said, maybe slightly forced, because he could have promoted Onsi the president anytime. You know what I'm saying? Anytime he wanted to, he could have promoted Onsi to the presidency. But it's kind of funny that Bob Myers reaches out. He want to talk to Onsi. Hawks say no. Hawks like, hey, because I believe Onsi, he just would have quit, left the money on the table. Bob Myers probably like, hey, leave that money on the table. I'm going to pay you whatever you need to make up for that. You know what I'm saying? So might have been forced, but sometimes you got to be forced to do stuff you don't like, but even though it's in the benefit of you, benefit of your organization. You feel me? So so bottom line up front, bluff. Keeper Onsi gave us stability, continuity, right? The unified vision. Okay. We got an analytics guy leading the organization. Okay. And I'm assuming you got a front office that's all aligned from Quinn Snyder to Onsi to Tony. But like I said, now I wonder, does Onsi go get a GM now? You know what I'm saying? Which I wouldn't be surprised, because if he go get a GM, which is cool because he's going to get his guy, that just takes some of the workload off of Onsi as the president. Because, the president got to run everything that's basketball related when it comes to the organization. I mean, everything. So I'm glad Onsi's still here. My motto, #trust Onsi. I like Onsi. I know some fans don't, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all tell me what y'all think about the about Onsi staying here, Onsi getting promoted to the president of basketball operations. Let me know in the comments below. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel, hype the video. It's your boy Damon, and I'm up out of here, man. Peace and hair grease.